Hey, how are you? Seth Schrott here. I did want to do a quick video on something that's relatively rare, though we do see it time to time. We see about one every 100 homes that we clean. And it's two things that are going on here. And there is oxidized siding coupled with weep holes and dirt that does get trapped behind the siding. So we'll first start with the oxidized siding. So siding over time, that vinyl siding that is, and it actually is more prevalent in aluminum siding, but we don't see this type of thing happen on aluminum siding. We see it more on the vinyl siding. So if you get a piece of brand new vinyl siding from the factory and you look at it in the light and you pour water on it, it has like a real slick sheen on it, almost like a clear coat, and you pour the water on it, it almost beads up. So over time though, when that siding is exposed to primarily the elements, but most importantly UV light, ultraviolet light from the sun, it breaks down that sheen and it compromises the siding's appearance of it. And it can actually become chalky, they call it, where if you take your finger and wipe it across, it can transfer to your finger. Now, it doesn't always transfer, but when, and let me step back here, the actual transferring is the sun breaking down the vinyl plastic. And it creates like I said, a chalky mix, and you can wipe it. You gotta be careful with that because when you wipe it, you can create like a clean spot per se. So once the sheen's been removed by the UV light or just the elements in general, depending on what quality of siding it is, that sheen's gone. So then it starts to oxidize and it actually creates pores on the siding. It's not slick anymore. So that's basically the first cause of what can happen here. So that your vinyl siding is actually being able to kind of absorb dirt and water versus like sheening off and running off, sheeting off. So number two is weep holes. So there are weep holes up under the lips of vinyl siding, which you can see primarily in these pictures. A lot of these spots you'll see right here, there's a weep hole right here. See how that vertical line is running down? And that's because the manufacturer puts them there. So during heavy dew point days, if you go out in the summer and it's really dewy out, you'll look at your home, there's actually moisture on both sides of the siding there. So they put those there for the real heavy dew point mornings and during the rain as well, if moisture gets behind there. So it can flush out and drain out. And then number three, if I used to be in construction, and I've done quite a few re-siding of homes, and whenever you pull off an old piece of vinyl siding, typically the back of it is actually a lot dirtier than it is on the front of it. And it's because your home breathes, it sucks air in from your HVAC system, and it's just air balancing per se. And also bugs have a tendency to make their way closer to your home during the fall. When things start to get cold, they start to move to the warmer spots. They build nests behind your house. The mud daubers can do it. Beetles can do it. And there's just a lot of debris behind the actual siding of your home. And so though we're not forcing copious amounts of water behind your house when we're washing it, vinyl isn't like, there's not a rubber gasket there. So even if you hit it straight on, some water is going to wick up behind the vinyl, which is fine, and it's going to come back down. And occasionally, depending on how much dirt's behind there, it's going to grab that dirt and run down. And so what can happen is, on a really bad oxidized home, we'll clean it, we'll spray our cleaner on, we'll do a low pressure rinse the whole way through, and the home looks great, and it's all wet, and it's all shiny, it looks wonderful, and then we leave, but what's happening, it's drip drying, and that water will kind of accumulate and wick down these spots, and it can pull the dirt, and then that dirt gets sucked into that oxidized siding and creates those brown marks. It's nothing to be concerned about. We'll come back, we'll just do a real quick light rinse on it. 9 times out of 10, if you do let it go, it does just disappear. The UV light will burn out that dark spots, and then the rain and everything. They do have a tendency to go away by themselves. However, occasionally, if it's really, really, really dark and brown, let me bring up one like this, and that's a lot of times that can be in homes that are in a new development. A lot of construction was done, and the home's breathing in that dirty air, and that's just a lot of the clay in the dirt creating that staining. But we'll come back, we'll make it right. I just wanted to do a video on this because it does happen like intermittently throughout our season. So that is the weep hole situation. It is what it is sometimes, but we'll make it right. And you can see, I mean, this siding just looks like grayed out and chalky and just dull. And that's all this siding is. I mean, it doesn't have that sheen on it anymore, and that water is actually absorbing into it. This is an older style siding you don't really see too often anymore being installed. But there's a weep hole right there. There's a hole right there, and then the water it does happen a lot with Carolina bead too. This isn't a simulated Carolina bead, but there's siding that actually has a bead right here, and it goes in, and the siding wraps around. And that really starts to trap a lot of dirt and water. And the reality is, like, there's going to be dirt inside that lip that we really can't get to, and occasionally it'll drip down once we leave. This is kind of a good example of what it really looks like on a really bad oxidized house. The siding's all bleached out. It's all chalky. You can actually see like there's something sitting right there and rubbing, probably a plant or something along those lines. But nothing to be too scared about. We'll come back, we'll make it right, and you'll be in good shape. Thanks for understanding. Be in touch.